In this video, I'm going to show you the best way to hire a voice actor. If you've never worked with voiceover talent before, it can be a bit overwhelming to know where to start looking. A lot will depend on your budget, your time frame, and exactly what you need. So it's important to keep these three things in mind when you make a decision. In the next few minutes, I'm going to go over the four main ways of hiring voiceover talent and the advantages and disadvantages to each option. Throughout them all, I think it's useful to keep in mind this diagram. Any service lands at some point in this spectrum, and the same is definitely true for voiceovers. Option number one, voiceover agents. If you go into Google and type in voiceover agents, then you'll get a list of the most high-profile agencies in your area. Are all voiceover agencies created equal? No. But they are typically the first stop for the best high-profile talent because the agencies themselves will have already cherry-picked the best in the field. An agent's job is essentially to curate the best talent from a diverse range of the industry. Depending on the agency, a lot of the talent represented might actually be actors who also do voiceover on the side. So they might not have access to recording facilities themselves, but they'll either be able to use the agency's own studio or an external one. But especially since COVID, a lot of agency talent have also moved to get home studios as well, and these will have all been vetted by the agents in advance. Essentially, working with an agent results in a high-quality product with a cost that reflects that. As well as paying the talent, the agent will also be taking a commission of between 15 and 20%, so rates will be on the higher end. Thanks to an agent's knowledge and expertise, you'll be given a number of very credible options, and the turnover time will be relatively quick, but there is inherently an extra layer of correspondence within the transaction, which means it's not necessarily the fastest, and it also means that you're often not talking to the talent until the session itself. Option 2. Pay-to-play sites. Pay-to-play sites are essentially voiceover casting sites where talent pay a subscription fee in order to play, essentially audition for your project. As someone posting a job, the fee for actually using the platform is often conflated into the overall voiceover fee. But there's often quite a difference from site to site on how ethically that this is done. Some are very ethical and some really aren't. Pay-to-plays are ostensibly fast because you can set the deadline. You can also set the budget, which could be well below industry standards. The barrier for entry to these sites is very variable. Essentially, if you can pay, then you can play, which means that you will be inundated with auditions that you'll have to go through, which will take a lot of time. Listening to countless readings of the same script can get very tiring very fast, especially when the performance levels are very variable, but also the actual quality of the recording itself. It adds an unwelcome degree of technical uncertainty into the mix. But if you do have the time to trawl through everything, then it can be a more budget-friendly option, if time doesn't necessarily equate to money for you. Option 3, freelancing sites, are something that I'm just going to touch on very briefly. Imagine all of the complications and potential issues of a pay-to-play site, but with no barrier to entry. Pay-to-plays at least have the barrier of entry of a subscription fee that the talent must pay, whereas on a freelancing site, anyone can have a go. So while turnaround times may be quick and rates often extremely low, finding anything that's actually usable is like finding a needle in a haystack and will require a lot of patience on your behalf. And finally, option 4. Hiring freelance voiceovers directly. Returning to Google again, if you search for the type of voice you're looking for and the word voiceover, you'll be presented with a huge range of talent to choose from. Any voiceover artist who has spent time building up their online presence, recording a range of demos, done their SEO and constructed a clear brand has to be dedicated to their job. If they've managed to get on the first or second page of Google, then they likely know what they're doing. They'll have invested in their own professional studio, which means that they'll be able to turn over recordings quickly, that you won't have to deal with a third party in order to speak to them, and that you won't have to wade through lots of duff auditions in order to get what you want. You'll be able to immediately check out their work, find out where they're based, and make contact with them. And as the whole process will be conducted directly, there'll be no commission involved, rates will be more competitive, while still respectful of the industry. And just as a side note to that, if you don't know what the proper going rates are for a voiceover, then I recommend you check out the Gravy for the Brain rate card. If you've already got a pretty clear idea of the voice that you want, then you can find a few different talents, ask them for a demo, and they'll usually turn over it in a couple of hours. If you've got much vaguer ideas about the talent that you actually want to use, then probably having somebody like an agent to bounce ideas off would be more useful. But another huge benefit of working with voiceovers directly is that we're a community, which is partly the result of us talking to ourselves all day. The best voiceovers will be very clear about what they can do and also what they can't, and be happy to recommend you if someone's more suitable. I make personal recommendations to my clients pretty much on a regular basis because it's part of me building a relationship with them. The best voiceovers want to be a resource to you, not just book a job, and are in it for the long haul, so don't be afraid to ask them. So there you have it. Each job is a balancing act, and no budget or timeline is going to be created equal. But I've hopefully given you a clear idea of the options available to you and what their various pros and cons are. If you enjoyed this video, please do take the time to like, subscribe, and turn notifications on so that you don't miss any of the future videos. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.